So, welcome to our little lesson on secant and tangent angles. I got 3 different formulas that I'm going to show you, and actually 3 different situations. And so I've taught you guys this one already, the one where they cross, and then we have the x and the y. The x is the one on the outside, and the y is in between, a and y. A is the measure of this angle, where the lines cross outside of the circle, right? And so what we actually see is that it's the same formula, even if one of the points is tangent, even if one of the lines is tangent and only touches at one point. It's also the same formula. This is one I've been hiding from you guys. It's the same formula when we got both lines tangent, all right? I didn't show you guys that way on purpose because I wanted you guys to kind of get a way of understanding what was happening. But basically, you can use that same formula to help you solve the problems that look like this too. So we're going to go over that, and I want you to see that all those formulas are the same, right? 1/2 minus xy, 1/2 minus times x minus y, and 1/2 of x minus y, right? And so basically, there's only one formula that's different. There's only one situation that changes, and that's where you have the lines cross inside the circle. And the only difference is that there's a plus instead of a minus, like in this situation right here. You see that? There's a minus, there's a plus, all right? So we're going to go over these different situations, and we're going to do the problems to try to get a feel for the way they work, all right? So we're going to go look at the worksheet, and that's how we're going to do it. All right? So here we go. Let's start with the first one. So the first step should always be write the equation of your line. So in this case, it's 1/2 the equation of your line. I mean the equation of your picture, the situation we're looking at. Okay, this is the equation for the secant line with the circular arcs. All right. So in this case, we know A stands for the 59. Right. Let's try to draw the picture over here so we can kind of reflect on that. All right. Let me make that a little bigger. We're just going to label everything. All right, so we got that little circle. I'm going to erase this in a second. So that was our A, that was our X, that was our Y. You guys remember that? So the A is the angle outside the circle. The X is the arc out here. All right, that's our X is the question mark. In this case, that's what we're trying to find is our X. And Y is going to be 66. So the easiest way to do these problems is plug in the numbers and then just start doing your algebra. So A is 59. This next side is 1/2 of x minus y. And x is x in this case because we don't have a value. But look at y. Y does have a number, right? Y has 66. So I'm going to go minus 66, okay? So now a lot of people get stuck on this problem because they forget that they have to double both sides. We want to get rid of that 1/2, okay? So the first step to solve any problem where this equation happens, where you got the 1/2 of x minus y, or x plus y, you got to multiply both sides times 2. All right, so 2 times 59 makes 118. And the reason why we're multiplying both sides times 2 is because 2 times 1/2, that's going to cancel out, right? And we're just going to get 1. And 1 times anything is itself, so we get x minus 66, right? So now, all I have to do is add 66 to this side, and then I'm going to get x. And I got to add 66 to this side too, right? So I get 174, I hope I'm right. Did I do that right? 184, sorry. There we go. Thank you for jumping in, guys. So there we go. And that's the way you're going to work through these problems, all right? You just pretty much line everything up, pop in your numbers, and that's it, all right? You just pop them in. So we're going to do another example before I give you guys a chance to practice on your own. All right, let's do this one. All right, so like I said, first step is write the equation. Just write it out, x minus y, all right? Then label all the steps, okay? Well, let's look at it again, make sure we don't mess this up. So like we said, A, that's the angle outside, y is the arc in the middle, and x is the arc on the outside right there, right? So we're gonna label everything. This is A, that's x, and this is y. So now A is gonna be A in this case, because notice it's the only one that doesn't have a number. So the variables that don't have a number, you leave them the way they are. So this is A. And this side over here is going to say 1/2 of x minus y. But what's x? It's 151. And y is 51. So what do we get here? We're going to get A equals 1/2 of 151 minus 51. But 151 minus 51 is just 100. And so what's half of 100? 50, right, guys? So there you go. The problem's done. Okay, it depends how you got to do it. Notice in this problem, we didn't have to double both sides because we already had both numbers on the right side. So the only time you're going to have to double both sides is if you're trying to, get one of the variables that's in here. If you have to get x or get y, you have to double both sides. But if you have to get a, then you're going to need both these numbers, and you're just going to have to take half of them after you take the difference. All right? So that's it for number 2. So let's try to set you guys up with a good one to do for practice. All right? Here's number 3. Before I go ahead and do this problem, I want you guys to pause the video and just check it out, see if you can do it on your own. All right? Set it up for yourself. Hopefully you can do it right. All right, go ahead, pause it right now. And we're back, right? So the way we're going to do this is write the equation like I said first. A equals 1/2 of x minus y. All right, let's see if you got the right answer. You should have labeled 55 as A. You should have labeled the question mark as x and labeled 42 as y. So if I substitute my values, I get 55 degrees equals 1/2 of x, which is just x. It doesn't have a number, but y does have a number, so we're going to put minus 42. Okay? And I hope you guys remember that what I do to solve this problem is multiply both sides by 2, right? So we're going to do 2 times 55, and we're going to do 2 times that 1/2, so that we get rid of it. So here we go. So what's 2 times 55? That gives me 110. And like we said, the 2's over here, 2 times 1/2. Well, what's half of 2? Right? 2 times 1/2 means half of 2. That's just 1, and 1 times x minus 42 is just x minus 42. Another way to look at it is the 2's cancel out, right? And we just got that 1 on top. So now we just add 42 to both sides, right? 42 here, 42 there. And that was the last step, right? X equals 110 plus 42. So we get 152. All right? Cool? You got that? So that's the way this problem works. I'm going to give you guys one more example for practice before we move on to a different situation that looks a little different maybe. All right, so try number 4. Go ahead, set everything up, write your equation. Go ahead, pause the video. All right, and if you did it correctly, you should have got 46. All right, if you didn't get it right, don't cheer up a little bit. I'll give you one more. You can redeem yourself. All right, don't give up on me yet. Try this next one. All right, here we go. Try number 5. All right, set it up, write your equation and everything, and here we go. Pause it, come on. Go ahead, do the problem. Don't be afraid to try. You guys can do it. All right, and if you're back, the answer is 167. All right, so hopefully you guys are getting the right answer this time, and you guys feel like you got a good rhythm for it, all right? Give you one last one for practice so you don't feel confused, all right? Here we go, number 6. All right, pause it and go ahead and work on it for yourself. And the answer is 175, all right? So cool, I'm hoping this video helps you guys so far, but we got more to go over, all right? That's not the only situation that we're going to talk about. We also had situations like this. I'm going to click through these ones. We had situations like this, and I kind of played you guys to tell the truth, my students. I didn't tell you guys that there was a formula for this. I made you guys really think about the fact that this tangent, it means a lot. I told you guys to remember that tangent means a 90-degree angle when I connect that point of tangency to a radius, right? At that point, that has to make a right angle, yeah? But you don't have to do it that way. Like I said, we could set it up the same way, okay, as we did the last problem, right? This is our A, that's our X on the outside, and that's Y. So how would we label this? What would everything be? What are we going to put? All right. If we did it that way, in this case, is it going to be possible to solve? I'm not so sure because I don't know. I just don't like using the formula for this problem. I like doing it my way. All right. So in this case, I'm actually going to do it my way anyway, just so you guys could remember that. This is 90, right? And this angle over here is 90, right? So now if you see this 4-sided shape, I'm going to try to highlight it in red so you see that's a 4-sided shape. So all these 4 angles, what I've had you guys do before is put an X right there, all right? And then we would say 57 plus these 2 angles must be 90 degrees, right? Because those lines are tangent. So we'd add all this stuff up, right? We'd say 90 plus 90 plus X equals 360, all right? Don't forget that in a 3-sided shape, in a triangle, they add up to 180, but in a 4-sided shape, they add up to 360. So that's the way it's supposed to work, right? So basically, we just got to add up all these numbers and subtract them from 360, and you're going to get the answer, but not the answer we want. We're going to get the answer for this, not the one over there, all right? So what's a quick way to do this? All right, let's try to find a quick way to do this so we don't have to set up these equations and we can use the formula that we want to. All right, well, what we got to notice is if you see that, what's 90 plus 90? That's 180. So I'm going to make this look a little different. All right. So what happens if I take 360 from both sides? I mean 180 from both sides, excuse me. If I take 180 from both sides, I'm going to get 57 plus x equals 180, right? And so now what you guys might start noticing after you've done these problems a while, especially if you've actually done your homework, you probably noticed that this arc right here, all right, and this angle right here, these two angles have to make 180, all right? So look at it right here. We got 57 plus x equals 180, how we just set it up. So what's that going to be? I subtract 57 from both sides. And what's x got to be? Go ahead, somebody say it. You guys are in here anyway. What do we got? Taking 57 from both sides. So we got 123. All right, so you guys see what I'm trying to say? Is I could look at this and say, hey, wait, I got to make 180, so this is 123. But if that's 123, then that means this arc has to be 123 because that's the central angle of the arc. So now we could use the formula and we don't have to do so much other stuff, okay? Or we could just use the fact that the circle makes 360, right? So it's up to you however you want to do this. All right? This is the way that I would recommend because it's going to help you remember what a tangent means. It's going to help you remember that the whole circle is 360. Everything kind of connects, all right? It really does. So I want to thank my class right now. They're watching me make this video, and I know that they're trying really hard not to be distracting and stuff. So thank you guys for keeping your stuff all around and not staring at each other all funny or nothing, all right? Don't make no googly eyes at each other, right? So if they both add up to 360, then what's the blue got to be? Well, that's our x, right? Or we could call it a different variable, but we know 123 plus x equals 360. So what's x going to be? Go ahead, somebody call it out. What am I taking from both sides? 123, right? We got what? 240 minus 3? 237, all right? So I got to tell you, I like this way of solving the problem better than using a formula. It just makes more sense to me because you have to get this number anyway before you actually get the number that I'm going to put in the formula. We needed y, right? And so I would recommend doing these problems this way without the formula because there's a lot of missing pieces usually, all right? So let's try the next one, all right? Let's look at number 10 and see how we can do this a little faster. All right, well, we just learned in the last problem, we said the tangent means that it makes a right angle. And then we found out that these two angles right here, I'm putting those dots on, they got to add up to 180, right? So this is going to be right here, right? You know, 79 plus how much? It makes 180. Well, 101, right? 101 plus 79 makes 180. So I know these two got to be 180, but if this is 101, then this arc right here is 101. And so now I know that the red arc going around the other side of the circle, I know these two arcs have to make 360, right? So we can put an x here and we can say, well, I know x plus 101 makes 360, right? You might even be able to do that in your head. What do I get? X equals 259, all right? So that's the way we do it. I'm going to give you guys a couple more so you guys can practice on your own, all right? All right, here we go. Do ahead, number 11, pause it, and just work on it yourself, all right? We'll do the whole problem together. Go ahead, pause it. And I hope you're back now. I hope you got it right. Good luck. Let's see what happens, all right? So now it's a little different, right? This problem gives us the arc here, but we got to remember, well, look, if this is 122, then this angle is 122 over here also. And we know these two angles got to make what? They got to make 180. This is how we've been studying on all these problems. They're all going to work out that way. So if these two have to add up to 180, again, that was because this is 90 and this is 90, right? And all four of them make 360. So I know these have to add up to 180, otherwise it's not all going to make 360, right? So what do I add up with 122 to get 180? What's going to have an 8 on the back? That gives me 130, and then I'm going to do 58, right? So all you got to do is just count. Count your way up to 180, and you're going to find that angle. So at 11, you should have got 58, all right? Good work if you did, and if you didn't get it, don't worry. I'm sure you'll get it. You just got to keep working, all right? Number 12, go ahead, pause it, try it out, see if you get it. And we're back, and I hope you guys noticed and didn't forget that thing about 180, like we said, okay? This angle over here, right? This angle right here is 130. And it's going to be the same as this arc, because it's the central angle, right? So I already know that these two angles got to make 180, so clearly this is going to be 50, right? 50 plus 130 makes 180, all right? Let's do a couple more. All right, so go ahead, pause it. Try to do this one on your own. Hopefully you get it. And we're back. And this is the way we're going to try to do it. All right, like I said, get this arc right here. Well, if that's 70, we already said since these are both 90, because of the tangent lines, right? That means that these two have to make 180, right? So how much do I need right here? We need 110. But that means that this arc is 110, okay? And that's one of the main things I like about this problem is that there's a lot of knowledge hidden inside this problem. If you learn how to do this problem right here, the rest of them can't really be that tough. All right, this one takes a lot of common sense in here. You got to remember that if this is 110, then that's 110, and the x plus 110 is going to make the whole circle, and the whole circle is 360. So what do I take from both sides? Oh, I dropped it. Great. So we take 110 from both sides, and we get x equals 250. All right? So that's about the way you want to do these ones. All right? We got a couple more situations to show you, so I know the video might feel like it's dragging on, but just fast forward through it when you feel like you got it. All right? We're going to look at number 17. I'm just going to do a couple examples of this one. Again, it's the same formula. I know it looks a little different, okay? But when it looks like this, x is still on the outside, y is still in the middle, and a is still over here, and we're still using the same formula. All right? Nothing different. All right? A equals 1/2 of x minus y. And the A is going to be the angle outside. The x is going to be the arc on the outside. And the y is the one in between. So just substitute your values in, right? 38 equals 1/2 of x, which is x in this case because there's no number. But y does have a number, so I'm going to plug in 64. All right? Now I hope you guys remember that the way to solve these equations is double both sides. So multiply this side times 2, multiply that side times 2. We get 76 on the left. And on the right, the 2's cancel out. That was the whole reason why we used 2, by the way. We did that to get rid of the 1/2. So now x minus 64 equals 76. I just got to add 64 to both sides.